is another thing we get asked a lot about, and people want help with. It's going to be about finding an owner. Now, Jason's talked a little bit about this on his tips and helpful information video, but we're going to kind of go into more detail. We wanted to do a video just on how to find an owner. And I did want to start off by saying that we do apologize if our videos seem to be all over the place. You know, we're probably bad YouTubers. We haven't sat down and made a list in chronological order of how to do these videos. We basically just do the videos as things come to mind, as we get questions. When you, our viewers, ask us questions, and if we feel like it's something that everybody can benefit from, or other people can benefit from, we sit down and do a video on it. So we apologize. They're not in any like certain order. This is going to help people that you've already decided you want to get into expediting, you've decided you want to drive for an owner, or even people who are researching getting into expediting and don't know the first thing about how to find an owner. A lot of people have asked us how they go about finding an owner, or asked us to get them in contact with owners. So that's why we're doing this video. The first step in finding an owner is you really have to know the resources and where to find an owner. So there are two main resources in finding an owner. The first one, and we've talked about this before, is ExpeditersOnline. ExpeditersOnline has a classified section where owners go in and they will post ads when they're looking to fill trucks or cargo vans. I will leave a link below. I always have a link below to the EO website, but I will put a link directly to the classified ads. So in the description box, you can go down there, click the link. It will take you directly to the classified ads on the EO website where owners post to look for drivers. That's the first resource. The second resource is to actually contact the carrier you're considering driving for. When you contact the carrier, you should be put in contact with a recruiter. And a lot of fleet owners, when they have open vehicles, they're going to get with that carrier they're leased to, and they're going to let them know, hey, I've got this vehicle, I'm looking for a team, or I'm looking for a solo driver. So that's a really good resource, is actually going through the carrier that you're thinking about driving for.
So if you've never been an independent contractor before, it's a really big difference between being an employee for a company and being being an independent contractor. When you're becoming an independent contractor, you are in a sense starting your own business. Even if you don't own the equipment, if you're not investing any money, you're not, renting a building, and you don't have a company name or none of that stuff, but you are going into business for yourself. What you're essentially doing is you are putting yourself out there to provide a service of doing deliveries. So when you find an owner, not only is he interviewing you, seeing if you're somebody he would like to put in your truck, but you should be interviewing him to see if that, or her, to see if that's somebody you want to go into business with and work with. So we wanted to provide you guys with a few questions that you could possibly ask an owner, provide you with give you a couple red flags that would probably steer us away from an owner, and try to help you along with that. So the first question you would want to ask a fleet owner or a owner operator is, how long has he been in the expediting business? Now, if he's new to the expediting, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you're new to expediting also, that could be kind of hard to make some money at, since neither one of you are going to have a lot of answers to problems you guys might have together while you're out on the road.
So the next question you want to ask is, how does that owner do their pay structure? You want to make sure the percentage you're getting paid. Do you have to pay for fuel? Are they paying for fuel? How do they do the pay percentage on the loaded miles, deadhead, any bonuses negotiated, empty moves, things like that. So that's real important. You want to find out the pay structure, and also how do they pay? How do they do direct deposit? When do you get paid? You know, is there a certain day every week you get paid? Do you get paid weekly? Do you get paid bi-weekly? So that's a very important question to ask.
Another question to ask is, how many trucks does this owner have? How long has his oldest driver been with them? How long has his newest driver been with them? And are either of those drivers willing to, you know, talk to you on the phone so you can ask them some questions also? You know, a few questions to ask those drivers would be, are they happy with the owner? Is he pay on time? Have they ever had problems with their paychecks not cashing or not getting their direct deposits on time?
Or he's not maintaining the vehicles.
Not maintaining the vehicles when there's a problem, or, you know, certain things like that you'll want to ask his current drivers.
The next thing you'll want to find out is, what does that owner require of you for staying out? How long does he require you to stay out before you can take home time? Some owners require a certain amount of time out for a certain amount of time home. So that's a really important question to find out when you're talking and considering that owner.
Another thing you can ask him is, will he be available to take phone calls from you when you're first starting out to help you accept jobs, knowing which jobs are going to put you in a good area, what jobs are going to put you in a bad area. A good owner will help you make those calls, you know, letting you know, no, you don't want to go down to Arizona, or you don't want to take a load to Oregon, you won't be able to get out of there. And if he's not available, is there somebody available to help you make those calls when you're starting out? Some owners might have a driver that's been with them for a while that helps them out with those kind of things, but that's a real good question to ask.
The next question you may want to ask is, what type of equipment will you be driving, and where will you be picking that equipment up if you decide to work with this owner? Some owners may have you pick it up at a certain location where they're located. Some owners may have you pick it up at the carrier when you go for orientation. So that's something you need to know. If you are picking it up wherever you're picking it up, you also want to find out, is the owner going to help you to get there, or are you going to be responsible to get there on your own? Will you have to drive there? Will you have to get a bus ticket? Will you have to, you know, get a plane ticket? Whatever the case may be, you'll need to find that out as well.
Next thing you'll want to know is, what company is that owner leased to? Typically, they'll usually have this in the ad, but that's something you'll want to know. And once you know that, I would do some research on that company. You know, do a Google search of Panther reviews, or, you know, find out what other drivers out there are saying. Don't take all the bad reviews as it's all bad. Like we've said before, not every company is for everybody. It's all about what you can deal with. For us, there's things we don't like about Panther, but we live with it, or we try to make it work for us, because there's good things about Panther that we do like. Also ask him how long he's been leased with this carrier, whether it's Panther, FedEx, Bolt Express. Typically, owners that have been with carriers longer are going to have a little bit more pull there. They're going to know who to call in case there's an issue, or, you know, they're just going to know the ins and outs of that carrier versus somebody who's just signing on with them.
Lastly, all owners are going to have a contract that they're going to want you to sign. You want to make sure that you read and understand that contract before you sign it. If there's something on there that you do not understand or have a question about, you need to ask that owner before you sign anything or agree to work with that owner. So those are just a few of the questions. Now, you may have other questions you want to ask that owner, and that's perfectly fine. Any question that you want to ask, you should feel comfortable asking that owner. A good owner is going to take the time to to talk to you and answer questions, and he's also going to ask you questions. If you are in contact with an owner and they don't want to take the time to answer your questions or talk to you, then I would rethink about possibly working with that owner.
And that's going to be one of your first red flags. If he's hem-hawing around on questions you're asking him, what the pay structure is, doesn't want to give any phone numbers to drivers that he has, if he's being real short, you know, kind of being frustrated or anything on the phone, that would seriously raise some red flags for us. A good owner is going to want to work with you, create a business relationship with you. He should want you to be successful also, because if you're doing good, he's going to be doing good. So good communication with the owner is going to be number one for me. And if he's not very good at communicating, I would seriously start looking at different owners. Maybe call a couple owners, not just that one. We recently seen a contract for a cargo van driver who was looking to get started. He sent it over to us and wanted us to look at it. One thing that raised a big red flag for us in that was it stated in there that the driver was required to accept all load offers that came across. And that is the worst, I think the worst advice or thing that could be in a contract. That clearly shows that the owner doesn't know expediting very well if he's telling you to accept every load offer, because there's loads that don't make sense to take. Going to a bad area, doesn't pay enough. You know, there's multiple reasons that you would not want to take a load. So that's something that would not go well for me. Now, if you're in communication with an owner and he's not returning calls or returning calls when he says he's going to, now, I mean, that's not a huge red flag. You know, some people are busy sometimes. They get busy, but typically he's going to want to be in contact with you as much as possible until you get started.
And even after you get started, to help you learn the business, especially if you're new and have never done it before.
I mean, this goes back to the communication. You know, if you don't communicate well with an owner, chances are you're going to have trouble while you're out here on the road communicating with them also. And it just doesn't make for a good business partnership between the two of you.
Now, those are just a few of the questions and red flags that come to our mind that we wanted to share with you. The biggest thing when you're looking into getting with an owner is trust your gut instinct. When you talk to an owner, you're going to get a feel for that owner, and your gut instinct is going to tell you that this is either going to be a good fit or it's not. Trust that instinct. That's always helpful to do. You know, don't jump into just taking the first owner a recruiter gives to you. You want to take the time and be sure it's going to be a good fit. It may take you a little longer to get started out here doing that, but believe us, it is going to help you in the long run. You would rather get with a good owner that you're going to be satisfied with than to take the first owner that comes to you or you're given from a recruiter, and in a month or two you're leaving or quitting because you don't like that owner or it's not a good fit. So take the time, do the research, go on EO, ExpeditersOnline, not only the classified ads, but go into the forums. And I know we've said this before, but the forums are a great resource as well. There's a lot of people that post on there that talk about certain owners, that talk about carriers. You can go on there, you can ask questions. You know, if there's a particular owner you're interested in or a particular company you're interested in, go on there, search for that keyword, you know, Panther, FedEx, a certain owner's name, see if any posts come up on that owner or company. And again, you can ask people. There's a lot of helpful people on there as well.
One thing I wanted to mention is there's bad owners out there but it's not all just bad owners. I strongly feel sometimes that owners just ain't out there to be bad owners. Typically, it's bad drivers who have made those owners bad. Now, they should be able to handle it better if they're not doing their business right, and every time they have a bad driver, they hold that against all drivers and then treat all drivers bad. You know,
be in any of the 4 left lanes.
It's a business relationship. You want to be the best driver you can be for that owner to help him be successful also.
So I hope that helps give you some basic guidelines when you're trying to find an owner. If y'all have any questions or specific questions that we didn't mention here in the video, contact us. We'll be happy to answer any of those questions for you. You can contact us through our Facebook page, our email. You can comment on the video below. We always have our email and Facebook page at the end of every video and also in the description box. So feel free to contact us with any other questions. We'll be happy to help you with those. We always appreciate y'all watching and subscribing to our channel. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you in our next video. Bye.